Welcome to another edition of Tom Brand One Thoughts. Hope everything's going well for you guys. Yeah, I just want to kind of go down memory lane. I hope you're staying warm because right now we're in New York. It's actually 33 degrees. 33 degrees. Jeez, I can't wait. Can't wait for the warmer weather to come around. And just looking back, thinking about the 80s, that's when I grew up. I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and just going back at, things are never the same like they used to be, right? I mean, I always find myself thinking the way it was before is better. Yeah, some things, most things, especially like I look at the 80s and 90s and 2000s. I mean, growing up, probably when you look at the 80s, what I remember from the 80s, a couple of things, and let's go down memory lane. MTV debuted and killed the radio star. You might even say the 80s in 5 words. It's some of the, the greatest movies ever made. In the 80s, back then, everyone was hanging out at the mall and the roller rink. When I think of movies again, I think of Nightmare, Shining, Hellraiser, Poltergeist, Friday. The horror. Music, how can you forget too? Music. Africa by Toto was released there. Toto! From the 80s, guys. Come on now. In the 80s, not only did it have some of bands like Toto, they had some of the best power ballads of all time. Big Hair and Hairspray. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. TV shows too, like Knight Rider, came out in the 80s. Movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. UBU Productions. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Woo! The 80s. With that big Hairspray too. What is a ozone layer? Aquanet, you might argue, maybe even destroyed the ozone layer. Crimped hair was, well, just too cool. But I had the time of my life. Going back to songs and ballads. About that for a song. When life needed no filter. Everyone knew your name. The bar knew your name. Cheers. John Hughes was the king. Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club. John Hughes. Fantastic video games for all you gamers for 25 cents. 25 cents. Alf TV show. Hide all the cats. Hide all the cats. Amps went up to 11 when you were listening to music. How about Spinal Tap? Does that make you think about the 80s? Margaret Thatcher. The 80s. Did you have your Reebok sneakers in purple, pink, orange? Pointer Sisters. In arcade games, speaking of which, were popular in the 80s. You had also musical acts that, let's not forget about them. Prince, Michael, Madonna, Bruce. And when you were hanging out in the mall, you probably did those glamour shots in the mall as well. Back in the 80s, too, everyone was copying Michael Jackson's moonwalk. The Goonies never say die, in case you forgot. Bill and Ted. End it. Girls just want to have fun. The A-Team, if you could find them. The A-Team. The 80s. What a time to be around, and be around. And if you wanted to actually watch a video, there wasn't Netflix. There was video stores. Blockbuster. Yes, there was. David Bowie, A God Among Men, is also one of those staples of the 80s. Pac-Man. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Heroes in a Half Shell, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What a time. I hope all is well.